All right, I'm just gonna throw some ideas up here on the board. We've got the football live stream coming up in about an hour's time, and so I've got a football jersey on for that. Of course, it's the Bears. So yeah, we'll see how that goes in Rick and Morty hat. Because why not? If I wear Chargers and Bears, people are gonna be like, "Why are you wearing a Chargers hat? Why is your jersey not match your hat?" Fine, so I'll just wear my Rick and Morty hat. So in rereading Into the Void, it's given me numerous ideas of how to do it again. So I've been debating about changing the name of it again. So it was Distant Battles when I was a kid, which when I decided to restart it, that seemed too close to Star Wars. So instead, I went Into the Void, which was reminiscent of a song by Nine Inch Nails I liked, and then for whatever reason, uh, that became a name of a series of books from Star Wars books, was Into the Void. So yeah. So one idea I've had as well is, and this could be debatable as to whether or not I call it the Eternal Void or Eternal Void, and then you'd have 9 parts. Now, one area that I'm trying to debate about what I'm going to do with it is that this would likely be 3 separate generations, but I've debated about having a book on Mike, so General, the main character of the book, Mike Translow, having one as well that deals with the Websters, and then maybe one that brings in Dradson. Now, I don't know if I would make these character books, so it would be just on Mike and his story as he grows up and gets in the military and everything, and get through the whole war aspect of it. And then with the Websters do kind of the same thing, and then with Dradson kind of do the same thing. And then I could tell the exact same war story from 3 different angles. Or do I make this just the character stories of setting up where the war comes in, and then parts 4 through 6 could be, what we'll just term the Great War. And then 7 through 9 I could make Aftermath the Next Generation. Now, the way that this gets tough for me is when I'm writing a novel, I don't know what's going to happen next. In order for this to work, I have to know what's going to happen next. The books that I wrote when I was a kid, they were not written in trilogies. They were not written with the next book in mind. When I did Into the Void, I had an idea of where I was going because I had written the Distant Battles book. So I knew which characters I was going to bring in. For instance, Pete Roberts, that's in the book I've been reading to my wife, the volume 2. He's like a main bad guy in one of the later books. Actually, one of the last books I wrote before the series just kind of petered out. And then the Aftermath Next Generation, that's where you get into Mike's kids, the Webster's kids, and somebody taking over for Dradson. Now, I had the idea as well of writing stories, and she's not in the stories I've been telling so far, but Shariah Solaris, who was the first strong female character I ever really created. It was the first time that I actually had a female character in a book who wasn't just somebody's wife. Gotta be honest, when you're a kid growing up, the female characters mostly are whoever's wife, and that's not fair. And then, but that's the way things were written at the time. So Shariah Solaris was the first time I really tried to push a female character as a leader, and make her somebody who didn't need a husband. And then, other stories out of this, you could have, him meeting his wife, and I could really give Katie that backstory that she's really needed. With the Websters, I can do the backstory with Marianne, and I can include Addison in there as well. And of course, you'd have to have been watching what I've been talking about, the books I've been reading on the channel to get this. But the idea that their mother and then a man who would actually turn out to be their dad. Whoops. He had no idea. And the idea of doing a book based on them, and then with Dradgen, you'd have either I keep in the Altair storyline, or I bring in his own planet, which is, he had one dating way back when. So I could bring in a new name for a world, and then have Altair and Altil both the bad guys again, which is what they were in the original series right here. And then you could have his world sort of taken over by either Altair or Altil. And Altil, basically, they're a lot like Klingons in the way that they were originally created, and Altair had some sort of a Romulan kind of aspect to them, in that they were very cold and calculated. And originally, Altarians were the ones that I envisioned to be like the little green men. So the Greys, as they get called in all these abduction stories. And I did do in part 5 of the End of the Void books, I do get into abduction. I do get into that whole thing with Violations. And Violations it's a book that actually kind of scared me while I was writing it, where I was like, this is really creepy. And I thought, well, I'm doing something right if it's creepy. And then I kind of wrote myself into a bit of a corner and had to write my way out of it pretty quickly. So that's where knowing the end from the start comes in. That's where knowing where I'm going here is important when I'm writing here. And it's something that I've criticized the new Star Wars movies for doing. The new Star Wars movies, and I'll throw this in here, kind of treated it like these were just whatever. And this wasn't a trilogy with Star Wars. I want to make sure that if I'm doing the Eternal Void, or whatever I call it at this stage, that each storyline goes into the next, and that it's plotted out. I know exactly where it's going. I know what's going to happen. And that it's okay that I know what's going to happen. So I could even have it that I know the major plot points. So I know what I'm trying to get to, but how I get there, therein lies the fun. So, I think it's fun that the characters that I'm talking about here are still the same ones that I wrote for when I was a little kid. And I created most of these characters when I was like 10 years old. And here we are. Here we are all those years later. I do like the idea of having one great war here, and then with the next generation, you could have kind of a, for lack of a better terminology, a finale war, which is a blow-off, which could be to do with this. So you'd have like a World War I, World War II kind of thing, but set in a galactic standpoint. And then the other thing I could consider as well is that in the original books, I did go to the Andromeda Galaxy. I did go to Triangulum Galaxy. I did go to the Whirlpool Galaxy. And I started basically making it so there were so many potential worlds that it just kind of got to be too much. It kind of got to be too much. And then I was like, man, they keep running into humanoids everywhere they go. This is a problem. And then eventually it just stopped. So anyways, I just wanted to share that with everybody. And let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Especially if you've been reading or listening along with what I've been reading to my wife. Because again, once we get like normal life back, I won't necessarily have a lot of time for this. But if I plot it out, then it won't matter how much time I have, because I'm going to know, okay, I can do like a half an hour of this. And then the other idea I had way back, like when I was in high school, was to plot everything out over 9 parts and kind of try to write all 9 at the same time. So do chapter 1 of the first book, chapter 1 of the second book, all the way through to 9, so that I know each book is hitting those points. Each book is keeping in line, and they all come across as they have the same author, the same vision, and the same idea behind them. But it ended up being too much. I started figuring out how many words that was going to be. It was around 1 million. And my brain went, yeah, we're not doing this. I'm not coming up with 1 million words. There's no such thing. So I'm out of here. So we'll see. It is definitely something that has gone through my mind over the last, month and a half, because we haven't had hockey, and it would be fun to do this. But again, it's a matter of coming up with it in a way that I can parse it out so it doesn't seem overwhelming, and still have an idea going forward. One thing when I started up my own YouTube channel all those years back, part of my idea was that, you know, there are a lot of people in family and in life that I've come across who've passed away, and sadly, there isn't anything of them beyond our memories to remember. Maybe there aren't very many videos and pictures and all of that. So I thought, you know, if I was uploading videos onto YouTube someday, somewhere, great grandkids down the road, somebody way down the road might stumble upon those, and I don't know, you know, that kind of thing, and kind of that's your great ancestor, whatever it is, right? I kind of viewed my writing as that as well back in the day, and I kind of still do. Like, so that the day comes that I'm no longer on planet Earth, it's okay, because I've got all of this volume of stuff, whether it's my books or whether it's my videos through this channel or through the main channel, that will go on. So while I have no intention of leaving planet Earth anytime soon, thank you very much. You know, it is something to leave something behind for that next generation, to feel like you're doing something that can survive that. So this was something I really thought was important. And I don't care if this ever became a TV show. I don't even think about that. I really don't, because this is very personal to me. I couldn't just hand this over to somebody and go, yeah, do whatever you want with it, because I know there'd be a TV something or other that would either turn it into sensationalization or crap or whatever, and I'd be like, no, I'm not. No, if it's gonna be crap, I'm gonna make it crap. Then you can blame me for it being not very good. I'm not doing that. So, yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, as always. And again, we're about an hour away from live stream on the channel, so I just wanted to do a little video first, just something a little fun, just to describe what I've been trying to figure out lately. And this is something that definitely I think would be fun. And one idea I had was to make 9 books and make them about 9 different characters, and then make them shorter. So make them so they're not like these full-length huge novels. Make them shorter, and then at the end of those 9 character studies, those 9 books that bring these 9 characters together, then do the full-length novel where we can have the Great War or something like that. And then people will have a better understanding of all the characters going into that 10th book that would be that full-length novel. Again, it's just me kicking around ideas. Let me know your thoughts. Hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through, you just happened upon this video. And remember, stay home if you can. Stay as safe as possible in these days and times that we're in. And thank you guys so much for all your support right now. It means a lot. I'll talk to you again soon.